Have you ever tried to practice self-inquiry, but your mind was too busy to cooperate? You sit down, ask, "Who am I?" and within 10 seconds the mind says, "I need to answer that email. What about tomorrow's deadline? Did I forget something? Why am I so bad at this practice?" And before you know it, self-inquiry has turned into another item on your mental to-do list. But here is the important point. A busy mind is not a problem for self-inquiry. In fact, a busy mind is one of the best places to practice, because self-inquiry is not about creating a silent mind first. It is about turning attention back toward the one who says, "My mind is too busy." That one shift changes everything. Most people think they need calm conditions before they can practice. A quiet room, no distractions, no work pressure, no emotional tension. But Ramana Maharshi's self-inquiry points somewhere much more direct. You do not have to wait until the mind becomes quiet. You simply notice the one to whom the busy mind appears. The thoughts may continue, the emails may continue, the workday may continue. But your attention begins to shift from being lost inside the thoughts to noticing the sense of I behind them. This is why self-inquiry can be practiced even during work. Not in a dramatic way, not by closing your eyes in the middle of a meeting, but quietly, inwardly, in small moments. Let's make this very practical. Imagine you are sitting at your desk. You open your laptop, and already your mind is moving. Messages, tasks, problems, deadlines. You feel that familiar pressure inside. The usual reaction is to jump immediately into the stream of thinking. I must finish this. I cannot handle all this. I need to hurry. I am behind. Now pause for just 2 or 3 seconds. Do not try to stop the thoughts. Do not argue with them. Just notice this simple fact. All these thoughts are appearing to me. Then ask inwardly, to whom is this pressure appearing? Not as a mantra, not as a mental repetition. Ask it once and look. The answer may arise, to me. Then gently notice that sense of me. Not the story about yourself, not your job title, not your name or your personality. Just the basic felt sense of, I am here. Stay with that for a moment. That is already self-inquiry. It may last only 2 seconds. That is fine. 2 seconds of returning to the source is better than 20 minutes of thinking about self-inquiry. This is where many people make the practice too complicated. They think self-inquiry must feel deep, mystical, or powerful. But during work, it may feel very ordinary. You are writing an email, you notice tension, you turn inward. Who is tense? You feel the me that is trying to control everything. You rest there for a moment, then you continue writing the email. That is the practice. Not escaping work, not becoming passive, not ignoring responsibility, simply not losing yourself completely in the mental noise. The work continues, but something in you is less entangled. Here is another example. You are in a meeting and someone says something that irritates you. Immediately, thoughts begin. He always does this. She does not understand. This is unfair. I need to defend myself. In that moment, the mind wants to pull you outward and build a story, but self-inquiry turns you back. Instead of following the whole emotional movie, ask quietly, who is irritated? Do not answer intellectually. Do not say, well, technically the ego is irritated. That is just more thinking. Look directly. What is this I that feels attacked? Where is it felt? Is it in the chest, the throat, the stomach? Do not analyze it. Just notice the sense of me around which the irritation is forming. When you do this, even for a few seconds, the reaction often loses some of its force. You may still need to respond, you may still need to speak clearly, but you are less likely to speak from pure automatic reaction. This is why self-inquiry is so powerful during work, because work constantly exposes the false I, the I that needs approval, the I that fears failure, the I that wants control, gets offended, feels rushed, judged, ignored, or overwhelmed. Every stressful moment becomes a doorway, not because stress is pleasant, but because stress reveals the exact place where the ego sense has become active, and self-inquiry begins right there in the living experience of I am stressed. So instead of saying, I am too busy to practice, you begin to see this busy feeling is the practice. The thought, I am too busy, appears. To whom does it appear? The pressure appears. To whom does it appear? The fear of not finishing appears. To whom does it appear? Again and again, attention returns to the one who seems to be at the center of the experience. Now, one warning. Do not turn this into another productivity hack. Self-inquiry is not mainly about becoming more efficient at work. It may make you calmer. It may reduce overthinking. It may help you respond better. But the deeper purpose is not stress management. The deeper purpose is to question the one who feels bound by stress in the first place. Ramana's teaching is radical because it does not only ask, how can I feel better? It asks, who is this I that wants to feel better? Who is the one carrying all this pressure? That is the doorway. And during work, this doorway appears many times a day. Before opening your inbox, before replying to a difficult message, before entering a meeting, after a phone call, when you feel rushed or criticized or mentally scattered. Each moment gives you a chance to return. Not for long, not perfectly, just sincerely. Here is a simple workday version of the practice. Before starting a task, pause for one breath. Feel that you are here. Then ask, who is about to do this task? Do not search for an answer in words. Just notice the sense of I that is about to act. Then start the task. While working, if you notice tension, pause again and ask, to whom is this tension appearing? Let attention fall back toward the one who is aware of the tension. Then continue. After finishing the task, pause again. Notice the feeling, I finished this, and then ask, who is this I? This may sound very simple, but repeated throughout the day, it begins to change your relationship with the mind. The mind may still be busy, but you are not quite as lost in it. Thoughts still arise, but they are seen more quickly. Emotions still appear, but they do not define you as completely. The sense of, I am the doer, I am the controller, I am the one who must carry everything, begins to soften. And that is a real shift. Another mistake people make is waiting for long practice sessions. They think, when work slows down, I will practice. When life gets quieter, I will practice. When I have more time, I will practice. But the mind that says this will always find another reason to postpone. Self-inquiry does not require ideal conditions. It requires honesty in this moment. Even now, while listening to this video, you can notice there is hearing, there are thoughts, there may be agreement or disagreement, interest or boredom. But to whom is all this appearing? Do not answer too quickly. Look, there is a simple sense of being here before the next thought, before the next opinion, before the next task. That quiet I am is not busy. The mind is busy, but the basic awareness of being is already present. Self-inquiry is the turning back toward that, not as an idea, but as direct noticing. This is why even a busy office, a noisy home, or a stressful workday can become part of the path. You do not need to reject your life to practice. You use life as the mirror. Every time the mind says, "I am overwhelmed," you ask, "Who is overwhelmed?" Every time the mind says, "I cannot handle this," you ask, "Who cannot handle this?" Every time the mind says, "I have no time for self-inquiry," you ask, "Who has no time?" And then you return to the felt sense of I. Not the story, not the biography, not the problem, just the immediate sense of being. At first, this may feel weak. You may return for 1 second and then get pulled away again. That is normal. Do not measure the practice by how long you can hold attention. Measure it by how honestly you return. One sincere return interrupts the old habit of complete identification. One moment of seeing weakens the assumption that you are only the stressed worker, the anxious thinker, the busy person, the one who must fix everything. Over time, these small returns matter. They build a different inner reflex. Instead of always moving outward into thoughts, you begin to turn inward toward the source. Instead of automatically believing every mental pressure, you begin to question the I that feels pressured. This is not dramatic, but it is powerful. And it is much more realistic than waiting for perfect silence. Because for most of us, life is not silent. There is work, there is family, there are responsibilities, messages, decisions, bills, deadlines, and other people's emotions. If your practice only works when everything is quiet, it will remain fragile. But if your practice can enter ordinary moments, it becomes alive. So here is the simple practice for today. Choose 3 moments during your workday. Before starting work, during one stressful moment, and after finishing one task. In each moment, pause for just a few seconds and ask, "To whom is this appearing?" Then notice the sense of me. Rest there briefly. Then continue. Do not try to create a special state. Do not try to become peaceful. Do not try to stop the mind. Just return to the one who knows the mind is busy. That is enough. Because the point of self-inquiry is not to make the mind perfectly quiet by force. The point is to discover that you are not the noise. You are the awareness in which the noise appears. And the more often you return to that, even for a few seconds during work, the less completely the busy mind can define you. If your busy mind often becomes reactive during conflict, the next video on self-inquiry in conflict shows you exactly how to use this practice when someone triggers you, criticizes you, or pulls you into an emotional reaction. You'll find the link in the description. And remember, you do not need a quiet life to practice self-inquiry. You only need to return again and again to the one who says, "My life is too busy."